What's going on, YouTube? Time for another recap here. Coming in, we're going to go over a little of what we've seen overnight coming into today. If you missed the prior video on these predictions, check the description. I will link yesterday's video to it. So yesterday, we had a really good top call up to the 50 fib, came back down. Then I said overnight, there's only one thesis that you want to see. Anything that holds over the 100% fib on the daily candle will get forced up to near the 459.11. That is the 0%. So the body of the candle we picked in the video is here. And if we ever defend the 100% on the Fibonacci on the daily, we're going to get shot back to the golden pocket zone. That's going to come back down. It's going to hold the 50 fib, which is gold right here. We're going to push up towards our 0%. Now, we were ready for this overnight. Check in the video description if you want, but we were ready for this coming over to today's action. And this is what I posted for our team. And I posted this on Twitter too. So check at Wall Street Trades if you want to check that out, or join us in Discord for these alerts. So it's 7:46 this morning. I put out a little bit of a blurb here, and it says anchor VWAP plus 2 resistance, long target and short scalp entry. And then I give a whole bunch of areas for SPY and Qs for the short options. So we'll go over those right now. Now, the trading view, we'll grab this real quick. Make it a little easier to see. So SPY, we'll start here. Now, for our resistance and why we picked the absolute top of the market and alerted it way before it happened is because we had a couple different things we were running into. We had data, so we had a good opportunity to force up, right, into these levels to become magnets, especially on the VWAPs. We have a +2 standard deviation outside of the anchor VWAP. So we have a center point right here, and this is our end goal target. But what we posted, I said, this is your long target right here into the second VWAP. And we also have a 1 hour POC resistance. Okay. And so obviously on the hourly chart, we found a big resistance, 458.86. So the blue level, marked that off. That was the exact top of the market, along with a anchor VWAP, along with some nice volume profile. And again, you can check that Twitter post, zoom in and check all these out if you like. So SPY, and then of course Qs was the second one. And of course this mimics, and we had 2 zones. That's all we needed. We needed a multi-POC zone. So collectively, multiple days prior, stacked up the same point of control volumes days in volume zones, and we would stack those up. So we had target 1 we put and target 2 for your longs. And then I also said short entry, right? So if you bring that up again here, we're talking on the Qs on the bottom piece right here. And it says long target, short scalp, target 1, target 2. So long target on the top channel, and first target long was the lower orange channel. So we were long in the morning here, biased off of, obviously, POC. It's a 15-minute chart. This is your long level on POC, ripped all the way up here. And we got a 70-point short. And then all of a sudden, obviously, we legged down after that. But we don't want to hold that long. So trading on scalping days, as we called this way before it happened, we did about $1,400 green today on this, purely off day trade calls. So that is how we got those levels. Now, what's next? Well, we had a couple different interesting things here happen too this morning with the VIX. So besides us calling those tops with anchors, VWAP, and volume profile, on the 5-minute chart, we had a very good incantation that the VIX left a couple gaps, and you know me and gaps, right? So I was very interested to see 2 gaps fill for our secondary trade. We'll go over our trades here after this, but we had 1 gap right here during the pre and a big gap at open. These both need to fill before any kind of right side direction or slow direction happens. So we got a perfectly timed Google News. We'll go over this in a second as SPY was coming into yesterday's highs. And that was perfectly timed news, of course, like always. And that is what slammed us down for a pop to drop. Now, this pop, we came up and filled this gap, so we had no longer had to worry about the VIX gap there. And then the drop filled this one. So obviously, VIX down, market up, and vice versa. So let's take a peek at our trades that we had taken for the day. So SPY, back to the TOS, is a little bit fancier here. So on the short call, which was right at open, was 100% short bias, coming down back to yesterday's highs. The second main trade was at yesterday's high, was going to be a high range scalp. So what you wanted to see is a failure of our short call. So we said short right here at the top, come back down. And then once we've seen the consolidation weakness, stay under VWAP. So I use the 2 deviation bands right on the VWAP. We have max resistance, max support here on the +2, -2 markers. Now, as you see the price action slide, one of the things you have to note is that it slid the center VWAP, which is a standard VWAP right here. And what it did is it ended up consolidating under that VWAP, right? We didn't really get a test that. We had one little peak back up, and we actually called this live as well, back to a fib test, 2360, and it pushed back to reshort it, to slam it down into yesterday's highs after it peaked back up. But the first trade long that we took was the gap fill. So what we had is a common gap, is what we call it. Price action started above yesterday's highs, okay? So when we're looking at price action right here, open yesterday's highs in the orange dashed level, okay? So when that pops up, we break, we control under center VWAP, and then dart down and fill right here. And this is when I called live long all you can right here, because we're going to get a really nice retrace. Now, it's 10-1 for ES to SPY. We played ES on this one, got like a $700 gain on this one. Push up 8.5 points. That's max. Of course, you want to be getting in right here where we set at yesterday's highs, averaging in. And I said, don't close those longs. Let it push all the way back up to either volume area high, and this is why we use volume profiles. Here's the orange level right here on the 5. There's volume area and Fibonacci from the daily candle, again in the prior video. Check it out, 458.32. It hit both of those and then big wipeout, right? But this was the perfectly timed Google news. So right at yesterday's highs, Googs came out with a little bit of a news piece that said, hyper computer AI, right? So some news about AI and hypercomputing. The market did a little wiggle, then poof, when slamming up, that's when the VIX put in that gnarly looking candle. And we knew that we were going to get a really nice pop there because perfectly timed news at yesterday's high is a big support gap fill on a bullish AI was going to trigger some algos and let it flip out, right? And that was it. So hope you guys caught those moves. You can check the Twitter for the post as well, or come join us. Link is in the description for Boiler Room Trading as we do this live every single morning. Tune in for the next.